So as we settle down from the fun and the hype of another E3 come and gone, hard to believe that I've been kind of covering these things for 7, 8 years now. It makes me feel incredibly old, but yeah, it's been a long time, and I gotta say this was a decent one considering the fact that there was no like in-person E3 this year. I felt like there was still some fun things to be seen, some fun things to be had, and it was just all overall just a pretty good E3 in general, where I think fans from all sides had something to cheer on. Even though Sony wasn't at E3, so to speak, there were still plenty of interesting games that are going to be coming to PlayStation, and I think that's always been like kind of my look at this as well. And what I mean by that is this. So in the past, I think over the past like 3-4 years, Microsoft's E3s have heavily focused on like third-party multi-platform games. So we would wait for this was back when Sony was doing E3 as well. So we'd be real excited and watch the Sony presentations. Most of their stuff was exclusive, and we watched the Xbox ones as well. And we knew that 95% of the stuff that they'd show would end up on PlayStation as well. So it was a very sort of interesting, situation. And I do think that it's really, really interesting to see how everybody sort of looks at this stuff and kind of reacts to this stuff, how everything was shown and things like that. And I think it really does go to show that that it really kind of comes down to what people expect and what people experience as fans in general. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, very interesting to say the least. And I got to say, for me personally, after watching Xbox's E3, I thought it was pretty good. I gave it a 7 out of 10. I don't know why people hate on that number. I think that it definitely would have looked worse as an E3 if Microsoft would have had a halfway decent E3 previously. So yeah, that's how I sort of look at it. And at the same time, I think that a lot of people are wondering what Sony is up to. Like, hey, what's Sony got planned? Do they have anything up their sleeves? I mean, Sony was just like, hey, congratulations, Microsoft. It's a good time to be gamers. Blah blah blah. Basically, did the old Phil Spencer kind of talk, where they're like, hey, we're so happy. Blah blah blah. Everybody's happy. We're all gamers here. That's a good time for all. So yeah, I think that that's really one of the things that everybody kind of talks about, and we're all kind of focused on that, and I get that, but I also think that this news right here is something that probably a lot of Xbox fans are going to hold their breath on and kind of keep their fingers crossed that it doesn't go well. But hey, I know you guys are dying to slap that like button, slap it, slap me, slap yourself, slap your mama, slap Phil Spencer, slap everybody, slap us all. We all deserve to be slapped, because we're crazy, slap, 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 slap that like button. It's deltas and brainwaves and I'm intelligent. Yeah, so anyway, let's go ahead and get into this. I'm Crapgamer. Crapgamer Reviews back with another video. Thank you very much for checking it out. I appreciate it. Like, share, subscribe. I would appreciate that as well. Now, you guys might have heard I was talking about a PlayStation event that sort of was kind of outright leaked by Hideo Kojima during the Summer Game Fest. This was very interesting. Now, Sony PlayStation Showcase is actually set to take place in a few weeks from now. Sony said to be gearing up for its own PlayStation Summer Showcase in the coming weeks. At least that's what someone is saying, a reputable person on Reset Era forums who has been confirmed. Assuming nothing has changed, just wait a couple more weeks, according to them. In a PlayStation thread geared towards a possible Sony presentation and news about the upcoming Final Fantasy. He's been spot on in the past and proved to have accurate information about the recently new Final Fantasy spin-off, Stranger of Paradise, Final Fantasy Origin. Also, she correctly said that the PS5 version of Death Stranding is on its way, and claimed that both Sackboy and Spider-Man Miles Morales would be cross-generation titles. Adding fuel to the fire about PlayStation's summer event is recently a verified user on the forums who claimed that Sony was planning its own summer showcase that will feature a new God of War trailer. Although this claim has said to have been based on months-old information, and Sony's plan might have changed since then. Sony is 100% having some kind of event or presentation in the summer, the user wrote last month. I know for a fact they're working on a God of War trailer for it, likely June. Earlier in the month, he added just that Sony was planning one, nothing really outlandish, although that was the months-old plans and that might have changed. Unlike Microsoft and Nintendo, Sony is attending this year's digital E3 event. With this in mind, it does make sense that the company is planning some sort of showcase, although nobody's entirely sure when the showcase will take place. For now, please take everything with a grain of salt, but it makes a lot of sense. Why would they ever in a million years go out there and kind of, and sort of do this? And again, they don't have to follow the crowd, right? Previous years, they would follow Microsoft later that day or the next day. This gives them weeks to kind of do something. Like Microsoft had a pretty good show, so I think Sony's going to have to go out there and do something phenomenally well to kind of combat what Microsoft was able to achieve. Now, again, did Microsoft have any of those real wow moments that people are going to just kind of freak out about? I don't think they did. But, again, I do think that it all really comes down to what Sony kind of views as competition or whatever. I mean, again, some really killer God of War Ragnarok gameplay might be all it takes to kind of, put users out there and go, wow, man, Sony's really killing it again. Because in my opinion, even though I was really happy with some of the stuff Microsoft showed, nothing was like graphically like, wow, that's next gen. I mean, we saw the CGI stuff with, Starfield. I thought Forza Horizon 5 looked great, but again, that game's not even using ray tracing, and looks like they were doing some 30 frames per second. That game's targeting 30 frames per second. So again, there's some of that, and I thought some of the announcements were cool, like the Contraband announcement, but again, we have very little to go on, and that game's probably a few years out. There was also some situations with the idea behind, the new game from Bethesda, and I thought that was a really cool looking game. Sort of reminds me of Left 4 Dead, but with vampires, and that's probably what it's going to be like. But again, they put this game out, this trailer out, it's all CGI, we have no clue what it is, and realistically that's supposed to come out next year. So that was the only surprise game really out of everything. And I have to sit there and think and scratch my head and go, well, was anything really like graphically amazing? Even though some people seem to really think Stalker 2 looked good, I thought that game did not look good at all. The animations didn't look good. I understand that's just like an indie game, like a smaller game or whatever, but people that were kind of propping this up or hyping this up to be like some kind of next generation showcase, it just really wasn't it. So I do hope that we see some really next gen stuff from Sony. Because I think that they really have that stuff under their belt and have a better idea about it. So yeah, to me, really looking forward to seeing what they have to offer, and I hope that we continue to see great things all around. Like I said, competition is great. So if Microsoft does something really good, then I think Sony comes out and they do something really, really good. I think that this is something that obviously people are going to be talking about for a long time to come. Sony coming out there, bringing out some of their stuff, because this is the thing, and I see this and it pisses me off because it's so much misinformation. Everybody's like, well, where's Sony's E3? Where's Sony's E3? What are they showing? And they'll show this list of stuff that Microsoft announced. Do they not realize that we were all duped by the stuff that Microsoft announced in 2019, 2020? Do we not realize that? They hooked us by announcing this stuff that was 4 and 5 years away, stuff that's not coming until 2023, 2024, and beyond. Then they don't show it at all this year because it's still so far away, and they show us a bunch of mostly just kind of mid stuff and indies and double A's and stuff. People don't realize that. Where Microsoft had no choice, they really had to go out there and show stuff that's years away. Sony showed stuff within their launch year, and yes, it's true, it looks like God of War and Gran Turismo 7 missed that launch year and they won't be available till next year. Still, most all the other stuff they showed hit during launch year, and that's something to be commended and that I find to be quite amazing. But when they're going to show their stuff, they're going to show their stuff that's coming next year too. So why does everybody act like Sony's in such trouble or anything like that? I don't get it, and I don't think I ever will. And I'm not capping for Sony. I love games. I think both have some really killer games on the way. I just think that it's one of those things that's kind of funny to see how it all works out and how people kind of reflect and react to, you know, the differences between Microsoft and Sony in general. But yeah, very interesting to say the least. I'm really looking forward to how you know, how this gets spun or whatever. But yeah, I'm telling you what, I would love to see what Sony has to show, whether it be factions, whether it be some kind of games we haven't seen before, some stuff for next year, some gameplay from stuff that's coming next year. I want to see it all. Bring it. Bring it. That's what I say. But thanks for watching. Slap that like button. Crapgamer out.